Technology is the key. If you're a young entrepreneur or really even an existing business owner, you have to stay on the cutting edge of technology. And how can you do it? It's constantly changing. Thanks for joining us here on Next Biz Success. My name is Lynn Hinderrocker, and I'm interviewing a guy in the Kearney, Nebraska area named Dan Shundoff. He's the owner of a 15-year-old company called Intellicom. They do very well. He's a classic entrepreneur in the technology industry. Thanks for joining us on Next Biz Success.
Glad to be here, Lynn. Thank you.
You know, the thing that I talk to entrepreneurs all over the area, and they want to know one thing. What's the next big thing, and why do I have to have and spend more money on new technology?
You know, Lynn, technology is the competitive edge that small business really needs.
Wow. Yeah, and we all need a competitive edge. We're in a global economy. Everybody's knocking us off and copying and parity and price pressure. So if technology can make the difference, I'm interested, all right? All right, so let's pretend I'm in whatever industry. Help me figure out my priorities. What should I be getting or shopping for or looking at right now?
Well, it's not very flashy, Lynn, but you know, a really good line of business application for your industry is critical, really mission critical to the success of your company.
All right, let's identify line of business application. Help me understand.
Traditionally, you could think of it, you know, accounting system would be one kind of line of business, and most companies have them.
Yeah.
However, the kind of line of business application that can really run your company, run your sales, run your inventory, run your management of your people, that is very important going forward.
Wow. Now, you are a value-added reseller, so I'm assuming here in the Kearney area, do you customize this kind of software, or do you create it for companies, or do I get on the internet and start shopping for software that would serve my industry? How do you go about finding this stuff that's so important?
Sure. We advise many of our clients in that exact scenario. We don't build it. There are many great companies, really worldwide, that build fantastic software, more so for the small businesses today than ever before.
Is that right? I've heard that cost is a factor, and we're really talking about what they call vertical software, right?
Correct.
Tailored to our industry. But isn't it really pricey and you know, tough to get into my world?
It can be, but so if it's $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 all up with equipment, that's a big investment for a small company.
It really is.
Getting value out of that over the next 3 to 5 years or more before you have to think about doing it again is the key.
Yeah, by the time you get 3-4 years down the road and you're breaking even on that investment, now it's the next iteration, the next software. Let's go on to some other things that are almost as important as this vertical specialized software. What else should we be thinking about?
Well, you know, mobility is a big thing today. Smartphones, Windows-based smartphones, BlackBerries, laptops, notebooks, whatever it might be.
Right. Carrying
your data with it is it's a critical thing, and it can be a haphazard problem, or it can be a significant advantage.
Dan, is the day when we rent an office and set up a CPU and a couple screens and the printers and the scanner over there and all that stuff and sit down and say, okay, I've got my phone and I'm in business. Are those days past us? Do we need to be looking at all this stuff and just getting out on the road wherever we're working? Or is the paradigm switch here?
Sure. Certainly for certain businesses in total, yes. But even for small businesses, when you start to add sales and marketing people, and they need to travel a little bit more. You don't need to be a company of 100 people to have that need. Small businesses need it too.
Okay.
So mobility is important.
All right. Do we need a hard drive and a CPU, or do we have to call our vertical software supplier to tell us what we should get?
I said ideally it's driven by that line of business provider.
Okay.
The person who drives those decisions, they really need to help you think that through.
Okay, so you decide right off the bat, first and foremost, what vertical software, specialty software exists out there. You find the stuff you can afford. Mm-hmm. You might have to get it customized by a local organization like yourself.
Correct.
All right, and then you ask them, now what kind of hardware do I need to drive and support the software?
Yep.
And they might say, well, you need a 300 gig hardware CPU and a big screen or whatever.
Correct.
What if the software isn't actually residing in my CPU? What if it's in a cloud somewhere on the internet? Is that good or bad?
Those options are out there more than small business realizes. So the recurring cost of software can be made monthly instead of annually. And so you can rent what you need when you need it as often as you need it in many cases.
And plus maybe the maintenance thing is handled differently then, right?
You don't have to own the equipment, you don't have to own the software, you can pay for it as you need it.
Yeah. Now some people are sitting around saying, well, I love the internet, but I'm not always on the internet, so for those kinds of people, that would not be a good solution. Is that right?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. Now, what about smartphones and Blackberries? Do we all need to have them, or is it just the glitzy young media entertainment business people that have to have those?
Well, they're flashy and they're fun and they're exciting, but they, in business, it needs to provide some value. There needs to be a purpose for it.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to match that up. The technology needs to be aligned with business priorities.
Okay, now that's a good strategy. I can't disagree with it. But let's get down to specifics. Do I need an iPhone? Do I need a pager? Do I need a fax? Do I need a laptop? Do I need a netbook? How do I pull it all together? Because I find like I'm Twittering now, all right? I can't get to the email, and I don't know if I should talk to a client or send off some email messages. How do people who have a small, modest business deal with this issue?
The amount of communication and the criticality of immediate communication really drives that.
Yeah.
And so whatever your role is, whatever your product is, whatever your service is, if you need to communicate, then you need a smartphone, you need a data plan, you need a laptop that you take with you, you need access to your applications.
Okay.
You need to be mobile.
The final thing that you mentioned to me earlier that I didn't even think of is hard drives and emergency and business continuity, and then what about the whole virus thing that seems to be getting out of control? How do we protect and secure this data that just is coming at us and we're struggling just to organize it, much less protect it?
There's an emerging demand for data management and business continuity and disaster recovery.
Yeah.
Used to be a bigger deal in the enterprise space, very important now to small businesses.
It's coming down to the small business guy.
Absolutely.
Same issues.
Yep.
And what are the best solutions for that? Do they just have a hard drive or save your data frequently, or what?
I think the cutting edge today right now are appliances that sit in the office, they duplicate the data locally and replicate that out to a remote location.
Oh, with maybe one or two clicks, huh?
It's happening all the time.
Is that right? And synchronizing your BlackBerry and your pager and all that stuff, there is a synchronization function that can happen as well.
Correct, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, you've been very helpful and answered a ton of questions. Most small business people spend months or years trying to figure this stuff out, Dan, so I appreciate your assistance very, very much.
My pleasure.
Dan Shundoff with Intellicom in the Kearney, Nebraska area has given us great insight into technology. You got to get on top of it. You got to get ahead of it. This is the quick and easy way to do it. Next Biz Success. My name is Lynn Hinderaker. Keep on going and keep on growing.